we got to talk about the NBA 75 list. So,
yes.
In honor of the NBA 75th season, and it feels like an eternity ago. I remember being 6 when they did the NBA 50 back in 96, 97. So it feels like that was an eternity ago. But the NBA 75, they announced the 75th anniversary team. Anybody on the list in particular, any agreements and disagreements that you had from the NBA 75 list?
I honestly thought it was a pretty darn good list. I didn't really, when I looked at it, I didn't really think there were any glaring like omissions or snubs or people that shouldn't be on there. I think the one question I probably have, and I know this is one that has been talked about a little bit. I think Damian Lillard being on there over someone like Dwight Howard might be a little recency bias. I just remember growing up how dominant Dwight Howard was, and I feel like people have kind of forgotten about that because of the way he's been the last, 7-8 years, how he's just kind of bounced around, and he's probably been in the league a little too long.
Yeah.
So I think someone like him or Vince Carter, maybe over Damian Lillard would be my one very, very minor gripe. I know Dame's got a case.
Yeah.
I just feel like Dame has maybe a couple more years of solid play before I'd put him ahead of one of those two guys. But all in all, I thought it was great. I also think I don't want to diss history at all because I know it's important.
Yeah.
Some of these like super, old NBA guys, like you take a look at their numbers and stuff, and the game was totally a bit different back then. But like Paul Arizin, Dolph Shays, like some of these guys, and so it's like, okay, like I guess you need to include them, but I mean, I would think that Vince Carter and Dwight Howard and some of Tracy McGrady and some guys like that probably have had more impact on the game than they did. And that could just be completely recency bias by me.
I was about to say that now. That's kind of you having a recency bias.
Yeah,
that's you have a recency bias.
It'll be interesting to see what true because I know there are some people out there that are like true NBA historians that like really have like dove into and like seen film on all these guys and stuff and have an understanding of really what basketball was like back then that. You probably have more than I do because you're a bigger basketball nerd than I am. But
that's what I do, man.
I also wonder if those guys do they really belong in there over someone like Vince Carter? Just those are probably my only two like issues I'd go with it. But overall, I think they did a great job.
My thoughts on the NBA 75 list. Personally, I totally loved it. I thought everybody on the list was deserving. I totally love that everybody that made NBA 50 was back on it because I thought come on, you can't put somebody on and then take them off. It's so I feel the opposite of how you feel about Paul Arizin, and that's how I kind of knew that's who was the first person you were gonna say because I was like, I don't know, but I'm not in the business of saying like, hey, all right, you're great. Nah, I know you're not giving back. So I don't think you can really say that, especially. So I thought that was great that they kept all 50, all of the original 50 on there. I hear your argument for Damian Lillard, or your argument against Damian Lillard, but I think that's also the same argument you can use for James Harden, who's in there for MVP and scoring titles, and also you kind of could say that for Anthony Davis with just one championship. Yeah. But my reverse argument for that would be my counter argument for that would be all three of those guys are moving at a Hall of Fame pace. Yeah. Now you can argue about placement. Klay Thompson, I mean, he'll be in NBA 100. Like, I feel Klay, but it's like, you want your flowers now, but he'll be in NBA 100. Yeah. Dwight Howard is the only person that I will absolutely make a case for. Like, you could take Harden, Lillard, or Davis off and put Dwight Howard on.
Hey, and maybe that's what Howard and Davis were arguing about on the bench.
And I was gonna say that was the easy joke. That was the first thing I thought when I saw it. I was like, "Oh man, come on!" like they lobbing this up for me here, man. Like, but I'm with you. Dwight Howard in Orlando was dominant, man. You honestly could take the last 6 years of his career off, and he was still going to the Hall of Fame. And think about what that means. That takes away his championship in the 4 or 5 years where he was in Atlanta, Washington, Philadelphia, and Charlotte. So Dwight Howard, I think he should go in. I thought I would have put him in over one of the three guys I named, but also they had 76 because there was a tie, but they didn't say between who. So
I remember Dwight Howard obviously he kind of put the team on his back and brought them to the finals the one year. But I remember
2009.
I remember the 2010-11 year when the Bulls were rolling. There was a game where Orlando came to Chicago, and the Bulls were just locking everybody down on defense that whole season, and they couldn't stop Dwight Howard. Yeah. And I was just like, this is the best defensive team in the league, and we have no answer for Dwight Howard. And I remember being I knew the Bulls probably still won. I remember being worried about facing them in the playoffs in that second round because I knew it was going to be tough for us to stop Dwight. Now, they got upset by the Hawks, which helped the Bulls, I thought. But I remember being scared of that team because of Dwight Howard. And I don't know if, like I said, he was just so dominant. And, again, I think people have just forgotten about that because he's kind of been a little bit of a clown show the last 7-8 years.
Yeah. So the off-the-court issues have definitely overshadowed him. But like you said, man, dominant defensive player, 3-time defensive player of the year. I think he had like 1,000 blocks in Orlando. Like, just so he would go into the hall just off of that alone in Orlando.
Speaking of defense, I don't think this guy belongs on the list, but just a name that popped in my head. What about Ben Wallace for, during those Piston days, linchpin of that team?
That's an interesting question because I kind of feel the same way about him that I feel about Vince Carter and guys like Grant Hill and Tracy McGrady. Like, if your career is over now and you didn't make it, I don't really know what to tell you about NBA 100. So, I mean, so maybe NBA 100, maybe those are guys that are going to probably come into question again in 25 years.
I saw that there was one name that wasn't on the top 50. NBA 50 and didn't play another game in their career between 50 and 75 that got put on. And that was, I believe, Bob McAdoo was the only one that was an addition from like the previous era. Everyone else that was added has played since then.
Right.
So like you said, that probably doesn't bode well, because who knows in the next 25 years of people that will be on there. Like, I mean, Luka Doncic will be on there. Trae Young will probably be on there.
Probably.
Just think of all the guys that are going to play. So, right. Doesn't bode well for those guys, that's for sure.
Yeah, but once again, the NBA 75 list doing what it does, causing debate.